Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed your 3-day weekend. You might notice that I'm not in my classroom today. I had a Labor Day weekend that did not end as I wanted it to. I was at the river and I stepped on a rock and got a pretty bad cut and had to go to the hospital and get 8 stitches in my foot. And so I am on crutches for the next 2 weeks is my guess. And so I'm teaching from home this week just because I'm still learning how to use crutches and I didn't want to have to hobble through the hallways of the school. And my doctor said I should work from home. So I will be here in my living room for the next week for you guys. That's why there's just a change of scenery for you. And that's what's going on with me. I kind of had a crazy Labor Day weekend, did not go how I wanted it to, but nevertheless, everything happens for a reason and it's going to be okay in the end, but I'm just going to be at my house for the rest of this week. So I hope you guys all had a good weekend up until last night. I know things got pretty crazy in Umatilla with the fire and houses being evacuated and such. So I hope that every one of you guys stayed safe and are doing well. My thoughts are with you guys, and I'm so glad that everyone is back in their house. So with that being said, for attendance this week, it's not really going to be taken. Everyone's going to kind of be excused just because we still have a lot of students that don't have internet or power. So I'm going to take attendance just for my records, but it won't go into Power School. Because we want you guys to not feel pressure if you can't make it today. So if you have anything that's more important, don't worry about being at school right now. If you still need to be with your family and get things taken care of. With that being said, because of the internet being down in a couple places and people not being at their house and such, I'm going to have extended deadlines for all of my work this week. So don't stress about getting it turned in on time. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself first because you are a priority. School can come later. So just know that I'm going to have extended deadlines on things, but try and get it turned in if you can. If not, just let me know and we will get it figured out for you guys. So I hope that everyone is doing well and is safe. And I'm glad to see some of your guys' smiling faces today. So I'm going to do some maps review today. This whole week we'll be doing maps review. And so today we're going to work on fractions. So if everyone can have a paper and pencil next to them and get ready to take some notes, we're going to work out some fraction problems together. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to get that while I take attendance. Okay, perfect. So we're going to be doing fractions review for MAPS testing because I know that some of you guys might not have done math since March. And just because MAPS is coming up, I wanted to give you guys some review on topics that might need a little refresher in your brain. You guys will be taking the Algebra 1 MAPS test, and it should be a test that starts out with skills you know, and then if you keep getting questions right, it'll progressively give you questions that are a little bit harder. There's going to be no point in when we're doing this at home for you guys to cheat while you're taking your MAPS test because what we want to do is see growth throughout the year. So if you cheat and get a perfect score this year or this first time, then it's going to be really hard to grow your score later on, and it's just going to show us that the next time when you take it and you don't get such a good score, that, hey, something's up. So it's not going to do you any good to cheat on your MAPS test. Just try your best. And all we want for this time right now with distance learning is just to finish your MAPS test. So just try your hardest, finish your MAPS test, and know that it's just going to be 1 week, and then we're going to get it done. So we're going to do fractions review today, and then our next meeting we will do integers, so negative and positive numbers, And then on Friday, we'll do a quick review on orders of operations. So I'm going to plug in headphones really quick. My brother goes to school at Pendleton, and he started today, and so he's in there. Can you guys hear me? Type in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, perfect. My brother started school today, and so he is in the dining room. Our house is not very big, so I put on headphones just so I can hear you guys better. Okay, so first for our fractions review, we're going to do just a basic adding of fractions, because I know some of you guys, it might have been a while. So go ahead and take 1 minute to solve this problem and type the letter answer in the chat. All right, good job, guys. Looks like people are getting it right. So I'm going to just work it out on a whiteboard for you guys in case you want an actual explanation. So for when we're adding fractions, we have to have a common denominator. Denominator just means number on the bottom. So right here, since they both are an 8, we're able to just add straight across. So 2 plus 5 gives me 7. And then when we're adding fractions, our denominator stays the same. So then we'll just be left with 8 on the bottom, and that leaves A as our final answer, 7/8. All right, next we're going to add a fraction and a mixed number fraction. So go ahead and work that one out and then type the letter answer in the chat. And then if you need help, don't worry, I will go over it in a minute. So remember that when we're adding mixed numbers, that you want to make it a fraction before you can add them. So the 3 3/4 needs to be made into a fraction. You can't just add them together. So in order to make it into a fraction, you're going to multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator to it. Just a little reminder for you guys. Okay, so for this next one, what we're going to do is 4 times 3 gives me 12, and then 12 plus 3 gives me 15. So this now becomes 15 over 4 because I keep the same denominator. So then I'm going to rewrite my new equation as 7 over 4 plus 15 over 4. Okay, 7 plus 15 gives me 22 over 4. Remember, I keep the same denominator. So since 22 over 4 is not an answer, it means I need to simplify. So, excuse me. I like to simplify. Easiest by fractions is to divide my denominator into my numerator. So 4 goes into 22 5 times, and that gives me 20. And 22 minus 20 gives me 2. So I'm left with 5 2/4. But I can simplify that even further by dividing it by 2 on the top and the bottom. And I'm left with 5 1/2, or the correct answer is C. Oops. So if anyone needs any clarification, go ahead and unmute yourself or type in the chat. I did that kind of quick, but it is a review. So if you need me to go over that again, just let me know. Okay, moving on to our next question, subtracting fractions. So this one, same kind of thing as adding. You want to have the same, you want to have a fraction and a fraction. So you're going to convert it to a fraction. So type your letter answer in the chat once you have it complete. Okay, so I'm going to start with 2/3 minus 1 1/4. I'm going to convert my mixed number to an improper fraction. So 4 times 1 gives me 4, and then I'm going to add 1 gives me 5. So my new equation is 2/3 minus 5/4. And then when I subtract, I need to have a common denominator. So what goes in, I can't make 3 into 4 and I can't make 4 into 3. So I have to find a common denominator for the both of them, which is 12. So to make 2/3 a fraction with 12 as the denominator, I go 3 times 12 is 4. And then, so 2 times 4 gives me 8. And then for the next one, 5/4 to 12 will give me 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. So 8/12 minus 15/12. 8 minus 15 gives me 7, -7 over 12. So my answer is D. Perfect. Okay, we have 15 more minutes. Awesome. Okay, my next one is multiplying fractions. A little reminder for this, for multiplying fractions, you just go straight across. So go ahead and complete that one and make sure that when you're answering, it's in simplest form. Just type the letter answer in the chat. So 2/3 times 7/4 is the equation. Okay, so with my fractions, I like to go top and then bottom. So 2 times 7 gives me 14 over 3 times 4 gives me 12. And then looking at that, I have a larger number than the denominator. So that's means I can simplify it. So 12 goes into 14 one time. And then I'm left with 2/12. And 2 goes into 2 and 12, so I'm going to simplify that. So divide the top and the bottom by 2, and I'm left with 1/6. So 1 and 1/6. So my correct answer is C. All right. Good job, guys. Looks like you are getting this one. So I'm not going to do an assignment for fractions just because it is kind of a weird week with only having school on Tuesday. So my classes that had me yesterday aren't going to learn this. So I'm not going to have an assignment for fractions, but I am going to have an assignment for integers and orders of operation that you guys are going to be able to pick one to do. I'm going to do that. So I'll see you guys again on Thursday. So that'll be available for you guys to do on Thursday. So no assignment today. We're just reviewing some things, and then you'll have an assignment later this week. Okay, number 5, we're going to multiply again the two fractions, but this time we have a mixed number and an improper fraction. So just go ahead and make them both fractions before you multiply. So remember, multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. Might need a calculator for this one. Some of these numbers I could not do in my head. I don't know about you guys. Okay, so I went ahead and converted the first one into an improper fraction. So 6 times 4 gave me 24, plus 5 gives me 29 over 6. And then I just left the 11 over 8, and then we're going to multiply straight across. So then we have 29 times 11 over 6 times 8. And I need a calculator for that. So 29 times 11 gives me 319, and 6 times 8 gives me 48. So there it is written out. I just multiplied straight across, and I got 319 over 48. And then 48 into 319, so I'm going to divide that using my calculator again. Can't do that mental math. So 48 divided by 319 gave me 6.6. So I'm going to go 6 as my whole number. And then 48 times 6 gives me 288. So 319 minus 288. Ooh, can't write sideways quite yet. Not awake yet. So then I'm left with 31. So 31 over 48 as my answer. And that leaves us with D. Do you guys need me to go over anything, or did that make sense? Okay, I'm getting response from Javi, so I'm just going to move on. But if you need me to, Diego, kinda. Okay, so I'm sure that you're fuzzy on the making it into my final answer, so I'll do that again. So I multiplied straight across, and I got 319 over 48. And then from there, I'm divided 48 into 319. So I went like, hold on. So from there, let me get this. Okay. So once I had 319 divided by 48, I went 319 divided by 48, which gave me 6.64. So then I wrote 6 as my whole number. And then after that, I took 48 and multiplied it by 6 to find out what it was, which was 288. So that means I had 319 minus 288 to find out what was left. So then I took 319 and subtracted 288 up here, and I was left with 31. And then I just kept the same numerator right here and put 31 over 48. And if you need more explanations, I would be more than willing to help you later. Okay, next up, let me get there. Okay, number 10, we're moving on to division. So we have 1 divided by 2 over 9. Let me So for division, I like to, when I'm working with a whole number, remember that any whole number is written over 1. So if it was 3, it would be written over 1, 8 written over 1, 331 written over 1. That way when you go to divide, it's easier. So what I like to do with my division is to remember to flip the second fraction and then multiply. So by flipping the second fraction, I'm going to make it 9 halves, and then I'm just going to multiply straight across. So I flip it, becomes 9 over 2, and then I multiply it by 1 over 1. Okay, so then we have 9 over 2. 2 goes into 9 4 times. And then 9 minus 8 gives me 1, and I'm left with 1 over 2. So my correct answer is B, 4 1/2. We're going to do another division problem because I know I did that one kind of quick. But the way I like to remember division is to keep the first one the same, flip the second fraction, and then just multiply them. So keep the first one the same, flip the second fraction, multiply like you would normally. Okay, our last one for our fraction review, we have 1 6/7 divided by 2. So first you're going to make 1 6/7 into a fraction, and then you're going to take 2 over 1 and flip it. It'll be 1/2, then multiply across. All right. So first I'm going to make 1 6/7 into an improper fraction. So multiply the bottom by the whole number and then add the numerator. So 7 times 1 is 7 plus 6 gives me 13 over 7. And then I'm going to flip my second number. So 2 over 1 I made into 1/2. And then I'm just going to multiply straight across. So 13 times 1 gives me 13. 7 times 2 gives me 14. And my final answer is A, 13 over 14. Sweet. All right. Great job, you guys. That was just all I had for today was fraction reviews. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.